That's 31 major causes of failure. You know what one of them is? Indecision. A person's inability to actually make a decision and actually do something. The word decision, folks, comes from the root word is Latin from the word decidere, which means to cut off. That's literally what it means. Decision means to cut off. And what you're cutting off is every other option other than the decision that you made. So when you're indecisive, that means you're trying to hold on to every option and not choosing one. Therefore, what happens is we basically kill ourselves based on the paradox of choice. We have so many choices that we don't make one, and therefore we end up dying of indecision because we can't actually pull something off. It's kind of like there's an old parable that there was a donkey who was really thirsty and really hungry. And finally he came to a point where he found water and food, but the water was 10 feet to his right and the food was 10 feet to his left. And you know what happened? The donkey died of hunger and thirst because he couldn't decide which one to go to first. All right, that's how many human beings live. Indecisive. We can't make a choice about doing anything, and we end up losing simply because we don't make a decision. We don't do anything. When you have time pressure on you and you have deadlines on you, guess what? You make decisions a whole lot faster. Any of you who's ever been under pressure, you make decisions really, really quickly because you have no time to think about it. You do not have the luxury of thinking about what to do. You just got to do something. And when you don't have time to spare or waste, guess what? No more thinking about it. You just get to it. You just do something and you figure it out along the way. And guess what happens? Usually we figure things out and they end up working in your favor, which means you could have been doing this all along. But until you were properly motivated to make decisions, you weren't doing anything. You were just wasting time. So 98% of the time, we all need to do this. Deadlines kill urgency and they kill the failure-inducing habit of indecision. And the only time we're indecisive, folks, is when we believe we have time to think about stuff. If you don't think you have time to think about stuff, you just get things done. You just make choices, you do things, and you figure it out along the way. And most of us being pretty intelligent, even if the decision that you made was not the optimal one looking back, you still end up getting the outcome that you want when you actually do something. Whatever decision you make will be the right decision. Because if there was a better decision, you would have made that one. And then once you make a decision, because you're smart, because you are capable, because you are skilled, you will figure out a way to make the decision right anyway. So see, it's not about the decision being right or wrong. It's about what you do after the decision that makes it right or wrong. Everybody follow me? Good. Point number 8. We're talking here today why you need deadlines in life. Number 8, you make yourself reliable and dependable because of your consistent and predictable punctuality. How many of you that person who you know exactly what you're going to get from them? Put number 9 in the chat. You value consistency. You just value knowing what you're going to get from an individual person. You just know what you're going to get. And they don't even have to be that skilled. They don't have to be that talented. Just as long as you know what you're going to get from them, you just know what they're going to bring to the table. You can plan around them. You can depend on them. You know what they're going to bring. Even if they are not that great at what they do, you can depend on them. My background in sports, I know a lot of coaches. I always value the reliable, dependable player, even if that player was not the most talented, because at least you know what they were going to do. You know what they were not going to do. Whereas the player who might be really talented, but they were inconsistent, the coach couldn't depend on that player because you didn't know which player you were going to get on which day. Are we going to get the player who looks like Michael Jordan? Or are we going to get the player who looks like they shouldn't even be on the team? You didn't know what you're going to get from them. But the player who was steady, maybe not that great, maybe just a little bit above average, but they did the same thing every time, that player was valued. Why? Because human beings are creatures of habit. We like things that we can predict. We like things that we know exactly what's coming. And when you can be this person, people will tend to depend on you and rely on you. And you know what people do when they depend on and rely on a thing? Are the same thing you do with your phone service, with your internet service, with your home, with your car. They pay for it. When people know what they're going to get, they are willing to pay for it because they know what they're going to get. All right, that's the reason why they pay for it, because they know what they're getting. Does any of you pay for anything that's inconsistent? You don't know what you're going to get? Of course not. Think about what you did the last time your internet went out and it was out for an hour. What'd you do? You were calling the company. You're on social media complaining about it. You're cussing people out without them even hearing you. Why? Because the inconsistency of the delivery. But when it's consistent, you're willing to pay for it because you know exactly what you're going to get. Guess what? People are looking at you the exact same way. Number 9, last one. We're talking here today why you need deadlines in life.